We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, the podcast where we explore the art of songwriting, celebrate incredible artists and dive deep into the stories behind the music. I'm your host, Simon Fink, and as always, thank you for joining us. Our guest today on the podcast is rising pop superstar Sil. The Colorado-born singer and songwriter makes hypnotic R&B pop music that wears its heart on its sleeve, and she has a voice truly like no other. Now based in Los Angeles, she's been praised by publications like V Magazine and Billboard, has found success with her singles Bloodsucker and One More Shot, and even received a co-sign from the Stevie Nicks as a talent to watch. While we were in Sydney recently, we had the pleasure of sitting down with Sil to chat about her brand new EP, Don't Hold Me Accountable, which is out today. It's a brilliant collection of pop and R&B tracks that showcase her signature edge, emotional depth, and refusal to stick to a single sonic lane. In this episode, we talk about how she approached the EP by tuning out expectations and focusing on what she truly wanted to make. We dive into how 90s R&B helped shape the sound of these songs, her early beginnings in songwriting, and the story behind her single, Pretty Years. We also introduce her to the iconic Australian concept of the shoey. Now we want to say a massive thank you to Emily for her help with today's episode. Sil's new EP, Don't Hold Me Accountable, is out right now, and you'll find links in the show notes on where you can stream her music and follow her online. While you're there in the show notes, please make sure to follow us across all of our socials and subscribe to this very podcast. Starting Monday, we'll be dropping extra episodes all throughout June, so hit that follow button to stay in the loop. Now let's get into it. Here is our conversation with Sil.
How did it end up this way? Oh, why am I wasting my pretty years messing with someone like you? Getting all drunk and upset.
Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Sil. Hello.
Hello. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming to spend some time with us. It's very exciting that you're here in Australia.
Oh, thank you.
Kind of playing. You played a showcase last night in Sydney.
I did. It was incredible. It was so much fun. And it was golden hour and there was the view was insane and the vibes were good. So I was having a good time and I had some wine. So that was fun too.
Even better. Come down, enjoy the view, the local hospitality, the wine.
Yes, the alcoholic beverages. Yes.
We were present at the showcase last night. It was a fantastic set that you did. So congratulations. It was really, really special because I think that obviously these kind of showcases are designed to bring attention to upcoming songwriters and artists. And I think it did exactly that. I think anyone who didn't walk away knowing who Sil wasn't paying attention or maybe wasn't in the right room.
Thank you.
No, of course. It's incredibly exciting. There's when people are listening to this chat, however, there is a new EP out from yourself.
There is May 30th.
Correct. It is called Don't Hold Me Accountable.
Yes.
Firstly, congratulations on this EP.
Thank you so much. It's been quite a journey. This was kind of a year and a half really in the making. And, it's weird. You would think it's 7 songs. Why is that a year and a half? It's well, a lot of it came so quickly, but sometimes you have to wait and you have to be patient with inspiration. And once inspiration comes, that's really when it all starts to happen. And I think this EP was really about learning lessons and really learning them. Not just saying that I did, not just pretending I did, really learning them and going through the hard part of, growing into a better person or, I don't know, a more mature person.
100%.
Yeah.
I did read that for this EP, there was a lot of trying to, and please correct me if I'm wrong, trying to get rid of those preconceived notions of what other people thought of your music and trying to really focus on what it was that you wanted to be in that moment and in that time instead of, I guess, what you thought you had to be.
Yeah, there was you have to commit to yourself. I think that most artists are bad at committing it's just naturally part of who we are. It's not a bad thing. It's just there's a natural freedom, you know, in it, and it's a really beautiful thing. But for me, I mean, I haven't released very much, you know, and not releasing much, but also being so defined by a certain sound is a weird place to be in, because at the time, I don't think I completely knew myself. I knew who I was at the time, but that's somebody I can't commit to anymore. You know, it's somebody that I'm not anymore. And taking this time was really, I wanted to be sure. I wanted to be sure of the commitment I was making to myself. And this project is, I mean, it's fun. It's not that serious. It's not that deep, but it's also, it is for me, you know? You'll listen to the songs and you'll be like, oh, this is so chill. Like, this is so fun. But, you know, being able to come out of the mindset that I was, you know, in a hurt place and too much in a hurt place to open myself up again, that was the real process. You know what I mean? And then the music, you know, you can be hurt and you can have things happen in your life that are maybe intense or that break your heart. And you can also, you know, take it and be like, you know what, I'm not going to let this ruin my day. I'm not going to let this hurt my self-confidence and I'm not going to let my ego stand in front, you know, of me really being able to blossom. And this sound in particular, yes, it's different than what I've done in the past, but it's so honest. And that's, you know, that's the only thing that you can do is be honest.
I kind of think it definitely works in your favor in this EP, though. I think that the fact that you've covered like quite a bit of sonic ground on this EP.
Yeah.
I think, what track was it? Loser. You've got like New Jack Swing, and then you're going to like ballads in Pretty Years. Like, I think that the fact that you're able to cover that much sonic ground without it sounding like too knee-jerkish or too like trying to, like it flows beautifully. It works very well.
Thank you.
Of course. When you were making the EP, I guess sonic-wise, was that an intention in terms of being able to just not show, as you said, not be defined by that one sound, to show the versatility? And I guess like the fact that musicians and artists are multi-dimensional, different layers, I guess, musically.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I did what I wanted. That's really like, there was no real plan, I mean, or whatever. I just kind of did what I liked. And I've always been very influenced by the 90s sound and 90s R&B too. And then like New Jack Swing, it was really just something that I was experimenting with, and I ended up loving, you know, for myself. And the versatility on this project is really a testament to the fact that not one artist is, you know, one exact thing. You know, there are so many different facets to human beings. So why wouldn't there be different facets to art and coming from a particular artist? But yeah, this sonic ground that I've covered is just, it was such a beautiful and like experience to be able to be that free on a project. And I've written a lot of music. I mean, like, haven't put out a lot, but I've written a lot of it. And these were the things that just defined me and defined this era of my life too. You know, sonically, lyrically, emotionally.
I love that though. I love that.
Thank you.
You worked with Evan Blair.
I did.
On the EP.
I do.
Who I believe, there's a lovely working relationship between the two of you. What is it about that connection that kind of obviously is producing some high quality pop music?
Well, Evan, you know, I hate him. I'm just kidding. Evan, you're fired. The thing about Evan is he was not afraid to tell me the truth. He was not afraid of me either. I think that when you have a big voice, people want to put you in ballad land. Producers want to put you in ballad land, and they want to they want to go easy, or not easy, but predictable. And he was kind of like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And I was like, well, yeah, we're not going to do that because I'm telling you we're not going to do that. But he just was so real with me, and he was so honest with me. And he also allowed me to be who I was and who I am. He continues to do that to this day, and he's been, you know, also just like a friend, you know. I want to make music with my friends. I don't want to make music with people that I'm going to hang out with in the studio and then like never see them, you know. So Evan and I just like, it's very like brother-sister like relationship between us. And I think that was really beneficial, you know, to like the health and the integrity of the project.
I absolutely love that, though. I think there has to be some kind of trust and sense of some, I guess, connection between a producer and a songwriter, because if there's not, then I think, as you said that before, like some artists just don't really fully commit. And I think that sometimes it is audibly, you can like audibly hear it.
You can hear it, yeah. You can hear when an artist doesn't know who they are.
Exactly.
And I think that you can also hear when an artist is figuring that out. But yeah, you know, and I also had I had bad luck with, you know, working relationships and creative relationships. Just, you know, people who didn't have integrity, and people who, you know, maybe weren't the best kinds of people. Although I've worked with amazing people as well. He made me feel safe, and he put me in a position, especially as a woman in this industry. You never know what's going to happen, and you have to really keep your guard up. And he allowed me to safely take my guard and put it down and just be an artist and be real, be genuine. It's just like he's a good person. Making music with good people is also very important.
I absolutely love that. Maybe, Evan, you're all right, okay?
Yeah, maybe you're fine, I guess. Don't tell him I said any of this, though.
We can cut that out, sorry.
I'll get flamed.
I was wondering if you might kind of indulge us. We are primarily like a songwriting podcast, as you can kind of maybe tell. I heard that your introduction to making music and songwriting was through the gift of a keyboard from a family member.
Yes.
And yeah, how did that kind of go from being gifted a keyboard to then sitting in Australia, the fact that you've been able to write songs? And
it's a wild feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was 8 years old, a distant relative of ours that I'd never met, but he was in music, you know, or like he'd done music in the past, sent our family a keyboard because my brother was getting into instruments. And I was jealous. So all summer long, that entire summer, I spent learning how to play Heart and Soul.
Classic. It
took me so long. I mean, I was also 8 and had no access to the internet at the time, so I didn't know what I was doing. But I figured it out. And once I figured that out, I was obsessed. It was this thing that was just always going to intrigue me. I was always gonna, you know, learn something new, and I still do to this day. That's why I'm still doing it, you know, and I still love it. But songwriting came from, I mean, my mom is a writer. She won't never call herself that. She'd be like, no, I'm not. Don't tell people that. But she is. She's a fantastic writer. And she, you know, she championed us as children as well to be artists and to express that part of ourselves, which I am always like, you know, thankful for my mother for that. But I really started with poetry. I love to write. It's one of my favorite things. And I also love to freestyle, like just get on the mic and create a song that just comes out. I think you get real things. You get your subconscious working when you do things like that. But yeah, my mom was, you know, a huge champion of it. And that piano did change my life, you know, that little keyboard. And it's weird to think about the fact that I have made constant choices that have taken me to all these different places and to have all these experiences, you know? And it does feel like even the biggest mistakes you would say that I've made in my life also led me to the exact same path, you know, that I'm on. And I mean, it's really just been like this constant choice. And I'm not surprised that I've gotten here. I'm thankful and eternally humbled and grateful for it, but also like it's a choice. Everybody's making those choices every day.
Very, very true. And I think it's, well, obviously some choices that have led you down the right path, because you're now getting to share your music, getting to influence and make people feel something with music, which I think is a really special kind of thing. I would love to talk about the current single that's out at the moment, Pretty Years. It is a fantastic song.
Thank you.
I'm wondering whether you might share with us what kind of initially inspired or what the catalyst was that began the song.
Well, you know, like I've had a very hard time, you know, in my years of life that has not been very long, but setting boundaries was definitely tough. And, you know, I was in a little bit of a tumultuous, you know, I've been in tumultuous relationships in the past and whatever. And what I realized was I kept going back to certain things that, you know, were not serving me, and not just not serving me, but were genuinely like, it was abuse. Like you end up in these abusive situations because you don't know how to choose. Nobody taught you that you were worthy of the respect to walk away. And when I wrote Pretty Years, I was just really sad, and I was stuck because I didn't want to feel the pain of leaving, and I didn't want to feel the pain of staying anymore, you know? And that was when, you know, the epiphany happened of, why am I wasting my pretty years on you? And pretty years, I think, you know, people think I'm talking about like my youth and being young and, you know, as pretty as I'll ever, well, that's not true. Wait till my 30s, bitch. Oh, sorry. But like, people think that my pretty years, I'm talking about my youth, which I'm not. I'm talking about being alive. As long as you're alive and you're healthy and you're able to experience love, why wouldn't you choose love? Why would you choose this thing that might, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing that might feel like love, or it's sometimes, but you know isn't love, because love won't have you crying yourself to sleep every night by yourself. It just won't. That's not what it is. And Pretty Years was really like, why would I spend my life and my youth, on someone who begs me to love them every day? I have to beg them to love me. I have to beg them to treat me with respect. I mean, why would I do that, you know? And so I wrote the song and then didn't take the song's advice, you know, for a little bit while longer. And then these songs subconsciously, they saved me in a lot of ways. And I mean, like, really, I'm a human being who makes mistakes and has, you know, problems and issues of their own and whatever. And that these songs are not just so that I can, you know, reach other people. They're so that I can reach myself too. Because reaching myself, I mean, and the whole point of the EP being called Don't Hold Me Accountable was everybody in my life that loves me could tell me, this is not, you know, good. This is not healthy for you. You need to walk away from this. But I would be like, okay, but don't get mad at me when I go back, you know, to him, or I go back to that situation. Don't be mad at me. And it's basically like, don't hold me accountable. And the realization that the only person that could really hold me accountable was myself.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't let anybody else. And these songs held me accountable too. Because I was like, I can't write this song and go back to him. Fuck. That would be bad.
The power of songwriting.
I know. It's a pretty magical thing.
There is something really special, though. I think that we're talking to a lot of artists about that there is something sometimes that the subconscious knows before the other parts of the brain know and realize, that you kind of can recognize and address. And then it's that it might take the brain, for whatever reason, a little bit of time to catch up to it. But I think there's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful honesty in your songwriting.
Thank you.
So, and not even just in Pretty Years. I think that even, and I know I referenced Loser before, which I realize it sounds a little bit silly to say it's a beautifully honest song, but I think even in the context of the way that it's written, I think that the language that you use in some of these other songs that are more upbeat and maybe a bit more tongue-in-cheek still still hold some power, and it's not just like a bit of fun. The wording, the lyrics that you've used, the EP is beautifully done. So again, congratulations. No, of course.
Thank you.
You are currently with us in Australia, which does beg the question, and not to get into trouble with anyone behind the camera. We can edit this out as well. Can we maybe expect to see you back in Australia at some point? Maybe some shows.
Absolutely. I hope to be back many, many, many times. I mean, Australia is not to say too much, but it's an important city for me. Or Sydney is an important city for me. Australia is also very important. Love you. But Sydney, like being in Sydney, there is memories here as well for me. And coming back here now to champion this music and to really stand behind it is a beautiful thing. And so I hope to make many more memories here because, yeah, we got to reclaim this city. That's all I'm going to say. But we are. And it's been just so beautiful. And, I mean, Australia, like, you guys are so nice, so kind. And I feel embraced, you know, here. So, yeah, I will be back.
I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Wanting for the next trip, I feel like Australians are very friendly, very warm to, like, take others in. I feel like gigs-wise, has anyone told you what a shoey is?
No.
Good, just avoid that. That's a thing that you'll probably discover.
Should I say it? Is it like a bad word?
No, shoey. No, it's not a bad word.
Oh.
It's not a bad word. It's not a cuss word.
Is it a person?
It's the act of drinking from a shoe.
A shoey? Yeah. Is that like a thing here?
I don't understand why it is, but it is. Apparently, well, not apparently, audiences do seem to very much get on board. So this might be a warning.
Okay.
Heads up. Bring an extra set of shoes.
Bring an extra set of shoes. Okay. Yeah. Shoey. Interesting. That's something I never thought I'd have to worry about in my life.
We usually kind of end our conversations asking our guests what they're currently listening to. For yourself, is there anything that's on high rotation?
Oh, well, it's funny. Phil Collins has been on constant rotation for me recently. So has Gary Moore is a big one. I'm just like falling in love with that blues guitar right now. But yeah, I'm always into like Phil Collins. It's like kind of my constant person that's on my rotation.
I love that.
So Phil Collins and Gary Moore.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you very much for chatting with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.